Hello, you spooky bunch. No respawns here. Hope you're doing well. So I'm going to be building on this rather funky-looking and completely unmarked on the map little survivalist bunker. So I am just in the Mire, just southwest-ish, southeast-ish rather, of Riley Clay's bunker, and basically it's underneath this big pylon here, and that's. You're going to keep making noise. And basically, it's one of the first kind of pre-existing structures that actually has a kind of survivalist, that kind of survivalist look that we all know and love. The kind of thing that I like building in Fallout 4 and kind of just generally in games in general, because I just think it looks cool. And it's one of the few areas that you can actually build on as well. Now, I've already built some stuff, because I've already built the thing I want to show you once, whether I just wanted to show a technique which I accidentally discovered while doing it. So basically, one of the slight issues with this area is you can't build on this. Now, obviously, you see I have built on this, but you actually normally can't. I've just done I've done some shenanigans, shall we say. So the problem is you can't put foundations on, which means you can't put floors anywhere, walls anywhere at all. And that means that it can be a little bit of a ball ache. I tried building here once before, and it didn't work. However, in doing what I ended up doing, I discovered that you can actually leave walls there. Are there enemies around here? Keep hearing it. This area is cool, but sometimes that spawns mobs, and I don't know if I've actually got them all or not. So if I get attacked halfway through this, sorry, I was getting distracted. I thought I could hear them scuttling around. So basically, I've left in these foundations here. The reason being is these are the perfect height for what I want to build. And basically, with these walls, you effectively build over them, or you basically build them last, and you can take the floors off. I'm not gonna take the floors off, because I want a kind of a structure above. However, I'm gonna play with this idea in future videos, because it kind of opens up quite a lot of possibilities. Basically, because the way this game works, usually you can't remove an item that's being supported by another item. But, so for example, if you have stairs and you have something attached to the stairs, you can't remove the thing that the stairs are attaching to. You can't remove the stairs from the thing. So for example, this is part of the way the build works. But if I put these floors on here, I can't remove that staircase because it says cannot remove part because it would make another part inaccessible. However, due just to the way that the logic of the game, once I've snapped those onto walls that go under them, I can actually remove all of this framework that allowed me to put the walls in the first place, which is quite cool and something I didn't expect. I only discovered this when I was taking stuff apart to actually do this video. So I'm going to play with that idea, but at a different time. I just want to leave my stuff up. So I didn't realise this until he let me know. So Final Render is actually doing another video on this exact location. Purely just serendipity that we're building in the same place. So neither of us are copying each other. It's just, it happens now and then. So definitely check out his. It's probably going to be quite a cool little structure in its own right. And you'll see kind of a different take on this exact location. So let's just build some things. Right, so basically it's very important. I left the foundation there already, just because getting it to the exact height is a bit of a ball ache, and I just didn't want to spend, 10, 15 minutes to start this video kind of going back and forth, because I'm going to attach, like, little pylons to the side, like little supports, and obviously if everything's not going to work, it's going to look a bit of a knob. I'm getting distracted now. Basically, it's the exact right height for me. Yeah, shut up. Right, so initially I actually had the foundation on the other side as well, but what it ended up doing is, even though it wasn't blocking the entrance, you would sort of like float near the entrance and not be able to get in properly. So I've moved it around basically. Not that really affects anything that you guys are seeing, but now you know. Right, have I done the right? Yeah. Got a whole little pattern. I've got a whole thing in mind. Yeah, it's gonna be a whole thing. Right, so now I'm going to put the floor in. I've already got everything. As you can see, I've literally got everything already stored and ready. This is a cool area. It does occasionally spawn mobs, which is a bit of a shame. Because this is actually, so even though my last video was actually my main guy's new base, I got really bored of being the ash heap really quickly, so I decided I missed the Mire. But yes, we are going to stay here as long as the mobs don't get too annoying. Right, so now what I can do is I can put the floor in. And yeah, you can. It just literally snaps in like this. It's really straightforward. And again, because this is the exact perfect height, these kind of like match up in the floor quite nicely, which is grand. And I can, as you saw, remove all of the walls and all of the ceilings. So if I wanted just this structure and just kind of like a shack above what I'm doing, I could totally have that. So that's quite cool. And something I will be playing around with in the future. Get in there, you ball bag. Right, we're going to have a little bit of a wooden structure in front of there. This is also helpful because it looks like it makes for cooler supports as well. Boom. That is the wrong wall. I want a window. Yeah, this was quite a fun. I always love. This is why I like. I know some people hate the engine, but I'm one of those people. I love a challenge, and I love kind of solving problems. And this for me is just like solving the problems of like, right, how can I build on a structure that doesn't allow me to place foundations down? Well, and it gets even better. See, the whole point of this upper tier was just so I could, you know, have something over it. But technically speaking, I don't even need this whole upper area, but I've already got a nice little shack in mind, so we're going to commit to it. Mentioned before, I'm saying this a million times, but just in case this is the first time saying, you see I can only snap these here. If I just snap the floors, not that direction, at an angle like that, so they're half over, it changes the snapping point. And I get a little bit of lag. Place it down. Thank you. So it means you can just snap things actually on the corners where they're meant to go, which is good. And nearly done. Oh yeah, I forgot to remove the one I had there, but it's not long enough. Come on. Come on. Place down, you twat. Yeah, so the foundation, the stairs were initially this side, but what would happen is you'd go here and you'd sort of, you'd have this like slight invisible wall, and it was a bit annoying, so I moved it to this side instead. That is the story of the foundation. I hope you enjoyed that. It's a good story, that. Good. Right. Okay, so now we'll put... It actually looks nice to this side as well. It all makes sense, yeah? I do love this area. I just love the mire. It makes me happy. I don't know why. It's so nice. It's so chill. This area is great as well because there's some chems that spawn inside. There's like a level 3 safe, which you can pick if you want. And there's all fun stuff in there. It's cool. So their mobs, usually it's kind of like often feral ghouls. Nothing usually spawns inside. It's always on the top or like on that ridge there. I once had like some scorched, but I can't decide if it bothers me or not. We'll see. Because I absolutely love this area, and I've got a good vision for how this will look. So hopefully they're not going to be too annoying. Burp. Right. It's just cool, isn't it? Just being here, and you know, it's a cool area. Right. Okay. Next, my shack. I just like building shacks with weird walls and weird ceilings and stuff. So I've got another design for a shack. I could honestly just do a video just on like different shack designs because they're just fun. Even though like the building in Fallout 76 is limited compared to say Fallout 4 and other building games in a lot of ways, I do like this part quite a lot. And I like solving problems. I'm an optimist. What can I say? Glass half full kind of guy. Right, get in there, you shit. He says, hurling abuse. Right, so I've got a whole little cool roof thing going on. I've got a whole roof thing. It's a whole fun, you know. There's gonna be a party and everything, right? Everything. I will be doing, by the way, a spooky build once the because I'm very much into my Halloween this year. I've been playing horror games. It's been a whole thing. It's been great fun, and I want to do a Halloween themed build, but I'm gonna have to wait until they actually release the Halloween pack, which they will, and you know, all that like Halloween bits that, you know, they're gonna shove on the Atom Store. Right, there we go. Boop. Right, and then we've got a whole thing like this, perfectly positioned so the pylon doesn't get in the way. Yes, that is called pre-planning, or as I like to call it, fucking around for about 30 minutes. Right. See why I cut the foundation part out of the video, because this would have gone wrong on this part, and that would have been annoying. Right, okay. Right, there we go. Right, let's put a door. Let's have a nice, I've got this door. No, I kind of like my blue door, to be honest. I like my blue door. You get in there, blue door. Love you. So attach a prick. Thank you. Okie dokie. And I just need to put something over these bits here. Because you can't snap railings on the side here. And unfortunately, because railings need to be snapped to things, it means you have to kind of do a little bit of fuckery. A bit of shenanigans. That's the word I've been saying a lot recently. I don't know why I'm saying shenanigans a lot so much. Just damn, really. All the shenanigans. It's a good word, to be fair. Right, anywho, stop rabbiting and pop these in here, shall we? I do miss, actually, I would love for them to... The one thing about, again, the Fallout 76's building system is there's not much, like... I just want decorative crates. I mean, they do actually have these. I'm hoping... Where are they? These, which I'm going to use for this side. But I'm kind of hoping they give us, eventually, like, just crates. Speaking of... And segueing into something I was going to mention in this video. Those of you who didn't see the latest Into the Vault, is it? Yeah, Into the Vault. That looks nice, doesn't it? Look at that. Yeah. Let's add some bits while I'm rabbiting. So in the latest Into the Vault, they've pushed back the release date for the Wastelanders update, the major one they're doing, which is all exciting, until Q1 of next year, so it'll be before April. Where is Stairs? Brain's going. There we go. Which sucks. However, one, they're doing it because they want to make sure it's correct, which is cool. And also, as a kind of, I'm pretty sure they're speeding this up so we don't get too mad. They're giving us private servers very, very soon. Now, there's some potential shenanigans here. And the fact is that you'd have to pay for these. I don't mind at all. I'm just going to... That's a thing that private servers have always had. However, I guess not many people expect that. However, what I'm quite most excited about is there is talk of having mods. Now, that means that your own private server, or more importantly, my private server that I'm going to definitely have, will hopefully, in the future, have its own mods. Now, I don't know what form this will take. If it's at least the limitations that Fallout 4 had, woohoo, as far as I'm concerned. Because, like the console limitations, because that means I can use all pre-existing assets. And ostensibly, this will mean that I can basically craft a world. It will be like as if you were jumping into my Fallout 4 game, is kind of the vision I'm hoping I have. Now, in terms of... I'm going to have some bits while I'm rabbiting. In terms of how this will work for you guys, I don't know yet. Because obviously I just can't put a link on the channel. I might do it as invite-only kind of thing. Obviously, there'll be a server limit of how many people can be in at one time. So there's that as well. There's whole, like, logistical things. But yes, anyway, private servers are coming. Awesome. Potentially a bit longer wait for Wastelanders. Right, let me just add some bits on the outside. So we're going to kind of surround it with stuffs. Actually, I'll do that off camera because you've seen me do those things a million times. Right, so here it is. A little bit rabbit on the Wastelanders. It looks very, very nice. Let's just check the entrance doesn't get all screwed up. Yay! So before you'd sort of kind of float a bit. Yeah, you see what I'm doing like that? You'd float and it'd knock the bins over us. Now you don't. So as you can see, you can kind of build on top of it with a little bit of bit shenanigans. And what I discovered as I demonstrate at the start is you can actually remove all of this if you want, and therefore have a structure on top of these metal structures here. So it presents some interesting concept builds that I can build in other places that I didn't realize I could have actually built upon. And again, this is such a cool little area. There's like a safe. There's a cap stash as well. There's first aid. There's also typewriter. So there's screws and everything that will respawn. There's a bed as well, which I believe you shouldn't get any nastiness from, any diseases. There's loads of screws actually down here, which is pretty cool. So it's a great little area. Very cool for RP. Definitely an area that if we get the private servers and I can mod, I will be developing upon. But anyway, let me disappear, do some decorations, and I will give you a full fancy tour with all the bells and whistles. One mo. And we are done. It looks cool. I like it. It looks really cool, especially from here. This angle especially looks really grand. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's give you the quick tour. So I did decorate inside as well. Someone's rudely blowing stuff up. But I did decorate inside a little bit. It's actually a little bit cramped, funnily enough, considering it's already pre-decorated. Whether I had some fun. I've also in this one, I kind of walled it off, but in a kind of like broken up walls with gaps in between way. So the idea being that, you know, they're more barricades rather than kind of a surrounding wall. This also had the bonus of enabling me to not max out my build budget, which is pretty cool. So one thing I would say looking at this, because I'm quite pleased with what I've made, but in hindsight it might have looked better if I just didn't build the structure on the top and instead focused, oopsie, on a much smaller structure and then kind of added more details around. But I'm pretty pleased, and maybe I'll rejig it in the future. The turrets are more just, you know, decorative rather than actually doing anything, considering how tough the mobs are in this area. But God, I just love the Mire so much. It just makes me happy. It just makes me cheerful. Right, so let's do a tour inside as well. So I got my bits and pieces. I've tried to make sure I have everything. The only thing I don't actually have here is a decontamination arch. I couldn't find a place where I could put it and also the power source. I was like, you know what? We just won't bother this time. I've usually got quite a lot of random ways, so it's all good. The inside of the house, I'm getting quite good at decorating now. Because obviously with Fallout 76, you've got kind of a little bit of a limited tool set compared to, say, Fallout 4, which had massive amounts of decoration items, especially when we had mods by the time I stopped playing. And at first I was like, I don't know what I can do, but I'm actually quite pleased with how this looks. I do need to actually start hunting down the bobbleheads and getting all the spawn, although it does take up build bit limit, which is a bit of a ball ache. I do, however, have loads of magazines, so it's pretty cool. Let's just have a look-see in the plants I haven't missed outside. So I've also got my little shed downstairs. Close, and I'll also show you the inside of the house too. Boop! Oh, that was meant to jump, but instead I whacked my head over. The actual one thing I've realised, and I might just use the photo mode in a sec, is just due to the slope, it's actually quite difficult for me to give you a good tour because I'm always being obscured by the grass. Certain areas you can't place stuff down here. It just says the object's floating. It's just because the ground's a bit uneven, but So I've got my wee shed underneath. I initially was going to put a fusion generator in here, but the problem is I couldn't wire it up, which is a bit heartbreaking. But I've got some, you know, I've got the standard shed type things. So it's all grand, and a wee window where I can have a look-see out here. Also with the armor workbench. And let's go downstairs. So the little, the survivalist kind of main shack, although technically, because I've got the house on top, it isn't the main shack, is quite nice. I just spent most of my time lighting it up, and just kind of adding a few bits and pieces, just making it feel a little bit more. I mean, okay, I say warm. I was about to say warm, but then I've recently unlocked the Wendigo statue, and I'm like, I like having that reaching out anywhere. But you can't really put much in here because of how packed it is. But I mean, I've left some build limit for me to. Oh, someone just had a ambulance outside my house. I left the build limit to allow me to kind of add a few bits and pieces. So it's just quite a nice. It doesn't really need to do anything with it. I just wanted to kind of utilize the area around it in some kind of way. Let me go to the photo mode just because it actually enables. Oh, hello. That's what I look like right now, by the way. Let's turn the distance up so you can see it in all of its glory. Yeah, so it looks really, really nice. I'm quite pleased with it. It feels a little bit more ramshackle and kind of utilising the top. The one thing I would say looking at this, you could probably do away with the top building completely. Just have something a little bit more rusty as the kind of where the workshop is, and just kind of maybe give yourself more build limit to play with, and just kind of maybe make more barricades. But overall, I'm quite pleased with what I've done with this place. I'll be living here a while, I think, until I find somewhere else new, a little bit more whimsical, but at least for a while. Let me know what you think. If you've built in this area before, I've seen a few bits and places. A lot of people I know have built like up here, and they have this kind of floating thing. However, I wanted to kind of integrate it with the main shack down below. And as mentioned, now that I've known about this whole kind of building downwards thing and then removing the floors so I can actually build without a foundation, this has opened up some things I kind of want to play around with. So look out for for videos on that kind of stuff. I'm going to kind of go to previous areas that I visited and written off and be like, right, can I do something here now? Potentially. I said final render, I know, is, as of me doing this video, he has been periodically live streaming him building up. I haven't actually seen what he's made, but I'd highly recommend you check out his build when he gets it up, because it will probably be quite decent. And yes, as always, follow me on Twitter at norespawns. I'm gonna have probably my next tabletop video maybe next weekend, just because I'm going to wait until payday drops so I can buy a load of bits box, because I'm going to be kit bashing a Gene Stealer cult for Necromunda. It's my next big project. I'm quite excited about it, and I'm going to be heavily converting them, so it's be mixing Skitarii sets, Corridor sets, Gene Stealer cult sets, and lots of modelling parts. It's going to be really, really cool. I'm super excited. So I'm going to do that, kind of sort of just show you the process while I do that. So that'll be when I get paid at the end of the month. And then more kit bashing and tabletop videos going forward. I've got a gameplay video planned. I did play Close to the Sun on the channel a few months ago, May. It's now being released on console at the end of this month. And I haven't actually got around to playing it properly since the last video. So I'm going to do a couple like multi-part gameplay, so just like a few videos, maybe say 2 or 3, where I just kind of play through a bit, record it, and then kind of play the game myself, and then jump forward a few hours, so that way you on console can check out, because it's really cool. I just haven't got my chance to sink my teeth into it. But until the next video, you guys enjoy the rest of your week. I love you all, and I'll talk to you lovely bunch soon. You take care.